The sun burned fiercely over Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso's capital, on February 3, 2025. Crimson dust swirled in the arid air. Inside the presidential palace, Ibrahim Traoré sat at his desk. He was 35, the world's youngest president. His red beret rested beside security reports. Jihadist attacks plagued the east. Poverty gripped villages. Global powers watched his every move. Papers piled high. Maps of gold mines, lithium deposits, manganese fields. His green uniform was crisp, his gaze sharp. He scribbled notes, determined to shield his nation's wealth. A phone buzzed, cutting the silence. Salafou, his foreign affairs advisor, rushed in. "Mr. President," he said, breathless. "The White House. President Trump wants to speak." Traoré's brow furrowed. Trump, back in office a month, rarely mentioned Africa. Why Burkina Faso, a Sahel nation pivoting from France to Russia? "Ready the secure room," Traoré ordered, voice steady. "Summon the ministers of mines and defense." 25 minutes later, Traoré sat in a fortified conference room. A large screen flickered. Donald Trump appeared, flanked by suited advisors. "Captain Traoré," Trump said, grinning. "Pleasure to meet you. Heard you're shaking things up." "I like that." Traoré nodded, guarded. "Mr. President, this is unexpected. How can I assist?" Trump leaned forward, all business. "Let's cut to it, Captain. The Sahel's a mess. Terrorists, jihadists, global threat. Your country's struggling." Traoré listened, face unreadable. "I've got a deal," Trump said, voice brimming. "A game changer. Your gold, manganese, lithium, it's the future. Our companies will pour billions into mining. In return, we give military support. Training, gear, intelligence. We'll crush the terrorists in 21 months. Guaranteed." An advisor slid a dossier across. Trump continued. "Plus infrastructure, roads, hospitals, schools. Billions, Captain. No one offers better." Silence fell. The air conditioner hummed. Outside, cranes gleamed, building towers with Emirati funds. Beyond, the National Heroes Monument stood tall, a reminder of sacrifice. Traoré's eyes lingered there, mind racing. "Mr. President," Traoré said, calm, "I value your offer. Allow me to consult my ministers. We'll reconnect tomorrow." Trump's grin faltered, irritation flashing. "Think it over, Captain. Deals like this don't last." The screen went dark. Traoré turned to Salafou. "What do you make of it?" Salafou hesitated. "Tempting, sir, but we must protect our resources." Traoré nodded, jaw set. "Full analysis by dawn." Night cloaked Ouagadougou. The palace glowed. In the crisis room, Traoré and his team pored over Trump's proposal. Geological maps sprawled, red markers dotting lithium deposits. "These are worth $35 billion over 18 years, Minister Tapsoba said, tracing southwest regions. "They offer 10% royalties, 7 jobs per site." The economy minister adjusted his glasses. "Infrastructure's $25 billion over 6 years. Roads, a dam, power grid." General Tapsoba leaned in. "They'll train 5 battalions, give drones, equipment, but they want a permanent U.S. base near Kaya." Silence settled, heavy. Traoré stood, gazing at flickering lights in the popular quarters. "What about Moscow and Beijing?" he asked. Salafou replied, "Russians will be angry. Our military ties with them are at risk. China's Eastern mining project competes with this." Traoré rubbed his temples. It was 4 a.m. Fatigue gnawed. "What do Mali and Guinea say?" he asked, nodding to the Sahel States Alliance. "Mali's Assimi warns caution," Salafou said. "They declined a similar offer." Fatima, a young analyst from the Burkina Faso diaspora, entered with a dossier. "Mr. President," she said, firm, "I studied Western mining contracts in Africa. Benefits fall 65% short of promises. Arbitration favors foreign firms." She projected a chart. Traoré scanned it, then glanced at a colonial-era map on the wall, its lines a scar of exploitation. "Ladies and gentlemen," Traoré said, resolute, "we have our answer. Prepare the response. Inform our allies." His team dispersed. Alone, Traoré pulled a worn photo of Thomas Sankara from his pocket. "Guide us, comrade," he whispered. A faint breeze stirred, as if the ancestors answered. By mid-morning, the White House link was back. Traoré sat with his ministers, all in formal attire. Trump appeared, exuding confidence. "Captain Traoré," he said upbeat, "I trust you've thought it over. My team's ready to deploy next week." Outside, Ouagadougou buzzed. Children played, vendors haggled. The nation's future hung on this moment. "Mr. President," Traoré replied, adjusting his beret, "we've studied your offer. We're ready to respond." Fatima by the door whispered to Salafou, "He's about to show the world sovereignty." Trump leaned forward eager. "We'll send advisors next week, Captain. This deal's a winner." Traoré's face was serene, resolute. "Mr. President," he began, voice calm, "we deeply appreciate your offer. We've reviewed it thoroughly." Silence gripped the room. Trump's advisors smiled, expecting agreement. Traoré's team sat solemn. "However," Traoré said firmly, "Burkina Faso must decline." Trump's smile vanished. His advisors froze. "I don't follow," Trump stammered sharp. "This is extraordinary, Captain. No one tops it." Traoré tilted his head, unshaken. "Our decision isn't about short-term gains. Africa's wealth has been siphoned too long, leaving our people poor. Promises of progress rarely deliver." Trump's face darkened. "So you'd rather deal with Russians and Chinese? They'll exploit you worse." Traoré's reply was steady. "We partner with those who respect our sovereignty. Burkina Faso welcomes cooperation, but it must be equal." He nodded to Tapsoba. "We're open to mining partnership," Tapsoba said, "but on our terms, local processing, youth training, majority state ownership." Trump's irritation flared. "Unrealistic. No American company agrees to that." Fatima spoke, confident. "Other nations secure such terms. The issue is Africa's seen as too weak to demand them." Traoré resumed. "Mr. President, Burkina Faso charts a new path. Our resources serve our people, who've endured too much." He paused, words sinking in. "On terrorism, we value your offer, but we'll strengthen our forces and regional allies. Foreign bases bring complications, not solutions." Trump, now angry, leaned closer. "You're making a mistake, Captain. Without us, your country stays unstable, poor. This won't come again." Traoré met his gaze, unflinching. "It's a risk we take, Mr. President. Burkina Faso chooses the hard, honorable path of sovereignty." He smiled faintly. "As our hero Thomas Sankara said, he who does not defend his wealth will never enjoy it." The connection cut abruptly. Trump sighed, ending the call. In the conference room, silence held, then broke. The communications minister stood. "I'll brief the media. This must reach our people." Unbeknownst to them, an American aide, moved by Traoré's stand, had recorded the exchange. By 7 p.m. Washington time, it leaked online, exploding across platforms. Within 3 hours, the video hit 6 million views. Traoré's calm defiance against Trump's frustration captivated the world. Hashtags, mine, Traoré vs Trump, just Africa stands tall, trended globally. In Ouagadougou, Revolution Square filled with thousands, waving red, green, and yellow flags. Youth sang, voices echoing pride. "I've never seen such grace," Issouf, a law student, told a reporter. "Traoré spoke like Sankara reborn." Inside the palace, Traoré watched, stunned. He hadn't expected the leak. "International reactions?" he asked Salafou. "Positive in Africa, the global south," Salafou said. "South Africa's president tweeted support. Mali, Guinea too. Western media call it a slight to America." Traoré nodded, phone buzzing with calls from African leaders, diplomats, eager to speak with the man who defied a superpower. That night, under Ouagadougou's stars, Traoré addressed the nation on live television. "People of Burkina Faso," he began, voice warm. "Today's decision isn't against America. It's for us, for Africa, for a world where all nations stand equal." His eyes gleamed. "Our path is tough. We must secure our land, grow our economy, uplift every Burkinabe. But it's ours, freely chosen." The streets roared, pride swelling. In Mali, a mural rose, a lion guarding gold, captioned, "He who defends his wealth." In Niger, a radio host said, "Traoré cut the strings. Africa's awake." In Nigeria, youth tweeted, If our leaders stood like him, we'd rise. The continent stirred, not just from defiance, but hope. A Ghanaian professor told her class, "This is Pan-Africanism reborn. In courage, not books." The fallout was swift. Western firms pulled mining bids, citing unfavorable terms. Asian and Middle Eastern investors called open to Traore's conditions, local processing, state-led ventures. At an African Union summit 5 weeks later, Traore entered to a standing ovation. His speech on a second economic independence echoed, delegates nodding. Burkina Faso lit the spark, he said. Let's fan the flame. In Washington, Trump downplayed the snub, pivoting to other priorities. Advisors privately urged a new Africa strategy. In Ouagadougou's markets, vendors whispered Traore's name, proud. "He's fighting for us," a shopkeeper said, her voice firm. Issouf, in a crowded cafe, watched summit coverage. "This is bigger than us," he told a friend. "Traore showed we can say no and rise." In Boni, Traore's hometown, an elderly teacher, his former mentor, sat under a baobab tree, radio crackling. "That boy," he said, beaming, "our boy taught a poor nation to stand tall." In the Southwest, gold miners paused, faces lit with hope. For the first time, they dreamed their children might inherit the earth's treasures, not foreign vaults. In villages, mothers named newborns Ibrahim. In markets, women said, "He gave us pride, not just gold." Traore visited Boni, embracing his teacher. "You taught me to stand," he said, voice thick. The old man smiled, eyes wet. "No, Ibrahim, you taught us." Back in the palace, Traore stood by his window, Sankara's photo in hand. "We're trying, comrade," he whispered, a breeze stirring, ancestral strength guiding him. Burkina Faso's path was uncertain. Jihadists still a threat, sanctions looming, but Traore's stand had etched a chapter of dignity. A YouTube video, Traore's historic refusal shocks. Trump went viral, its thumbnail of Traore with his beret, hashtags like Africa stands tall, and Traore's Trump driving 10 million views. The narrator ended, "If Traore's courage moved you, subscribe, like, share. Turn on the bell for stories of truth. Who's your Issouf? The one who believed in you? Comment below."